Two phases make up the pentose phosphate pathway, the oxidative and the non-oxidative. In the oxidative phase, you have glucose, which gets converted into ribose 5-phosphate. During this process, which happens in the cytoplasm of the cell, two NADPH molecules are generated and a carbon dioxide molecule is released. NADPH is very important for the cell for clearing out free radicals, for metabolism. In fact, sometimes instead of going on to glycolysis after completing the non-oxidative phase, the process will be repeated so that more NADPH can be generated. Back to our ribose 5-phosphate molecule, it enters the non-oxidative phase, and this is where it gets a little complicated. Overall, 3 molecules of ribose 5-phosphate turn out to be 1 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate molecule and 2 fructose 6-phosphate molecules. And all of those 3 end products can enter glycolysis and go on to make ATP, but again, that depends on the cell's needs, whether it needs ATP or NADPH more. Okay, so this was the big picture I just covered, but I'm still going to give you the actual steps when I cover the actual phases in more detail. That's when I'm going to show you exactly what happens to the molecule and which enzymes are used, but that will be in a later video. Right now I'm just giving the basics. Let's go back to the oxidative phase. Now, we already begin with a phosphorylated glucose, meaning it's reactive, trapped inside the cell, and ready to start this process. This excited glucose then has its electrons and hydrogen pulled off to generate an NADPH. So glucose gets dehydrogenated and changed in a way so that a cyclic ester bond is formed. I'll show you that in another video, but that's exactly what lets it get converted from a cyclic ring structure to a non-cyclic or basically open structure. The ester bond is broken, so now it's an open chain molecule. And then another dehydrogenation reaction occurs where another NADPH molecule is generated, and this is also where a carbon dioxide is released. So instead of 6-carbon phosphogluconate, we now have a 5-carbon ribulose. Okay, so after all of this, which went on in the oxidative phase, we enter the non-oxidative phase. We'll need 3 ribulose molecules. 2 of those are going to be turned into cellulose. And just to note, every single molecule in both phases contains a phosphate group. So when I say ribulose, I mean ribulose 5-phosphate. You get the idea. Okay, so the third ribulose, which was not converted to cellulose, gets converted to ribose, and is now going to react with acellulose to create cytoheptulose and glyceraldehyde. Don't get too stuck up on the names. Just imagine a chunk of the cellulose taken off and transferred to ribose, which forms the cytoheptulose. Then that pair, the cytoheptulose and glyceraldehyde, react to form fructose and erythrose, which, by the way, fructose is one of the end products. The reason why this erythrose is also not an end product is because it reacts with the second cellulose that we formed way back when we had those 2 ribulose convert to 2 cellulose. It reacts with it to form glyceraldehyde and fructose, which are both also end products. If you're a bit confused, it's okay. It gets easier to map out once you spend some time learning it. The main thing I wanted you to come away with in this overview is that there are 2 phases, oxidative and non-oxidative, and that oxidative is the main phase where NADPH is formed. Actually, some of the intermediate substrates of the non-oxidative phase are still important, like erythrose for amino acids and cytoheptulose for the bacteria in our gut. But overall, it produces those end products that can go on to glycolysis. In fact, even from the oxidative phase, those 5-carbon phosphate sugars that get produced can be used instead for building nucleotides or other molecules. It's kind of intertwined with a lot of things. It's definitely not linear or as clean as I'm explaining to you. But at least for sake of knowing what the pentose phosphate pathway entails, hopefully this helped you get a grasp of what you're getting into.